Have you ever had a dream that felt more real than your waking life? A dream that stayed with you long after you opened your eyes? I want to tell you about one such dream. It began in a vast, empty department store. The lights were low, casting long shadows across the silent aisles. But this was no ordinary store. There was a lurking danger, a quiet terror that filled the air. People with blank, white faces roamed the halls. They were not alive in the way we understand it. They were like statues, but they could move. And if they touched you, you would become just like them. You would turn into cold white stone. The feeling was one of constant, breathless fear. I was running, hiding behind clothing racks and empty checkout counters. Every sound, every echo, was a potential threat. The white-faced figures moved slowly but relentlessly, their silent pursuit a promise of a terrible end. This wasn't a fear of death. It was a fear of losing myself, of being frozen in time. It was the fear of becoming another nameless, faceless statue in a silent world. The dream captured a primal anxiety we all share, the fear of being seen but not truly known, of having our vibrant, colorful lives turned into something pale and motionless. This chase represents something deep within the human spirit. We are all running from something, are we not? We run from conformity, from the pressures that ask us to be less than who we are. These white stone people are the embodiment of that pressure. They are the voices that tell us to fit in, to be quiet, to not make waves. They symbolize a life without passion, without individuality, without the messy, beautiful chaos of being human. Hiding was the only option, a desperate attempt to preserve the spark of life and color against a tide of encroaching emptiness and uniformity. The store itself was a sterile world, a perfect stage for this battle for the soul. The symbolism of turning to stone is ancient and powerful. It speaks to a state of emotional paralysis. It is the feeling of being stuck, unable to move forward, unable to feel. In the dream, this was a physical threat, but it mirrors a spiritual and emotional reality many of us face. We fear our hearts will grow cold. We worry that the weight of the world will calcify our spirit, leaving us unable to connect with others or with our own true selves. The dream was a stark and vivid reminder of what is at stake when we stop fighting for our own inner light and allow the world to paint us white. My frantic escape led me to an unexpected sanctuary, the toy store section. Here the colors were brighter, a stark contrast to the sterile white of the rest of the store. Aisles were filled with games and dolls, but one thing called to me. It was a display of simple wooden building blocks. They were painted in primary colors, bold reds, bright yellows, and deep blues. In that moment, hiding was not enough. I felt a new impulse, a need to do something more than just run. I needed to understand what was happening, to find a crack in this terrifying reality. With the white-faced figures still searching, I began to act. I walked to the blocks, my heart still pounding in my chest. I picked them up, not to build something, but to break them. One by one, I smashed the colorful blocks on the floor. It was not an act of random destruction, it was a search. With each shattered piece, I was looking for something hidden inside. I was searching for an answer, a key, a hidden truth that would explain this nightmare. I believed that, inside these simple forms, a deeper meaning was waiting to be discovered, if I only had the courage to look. This act of breaking the blocks is a powerful metaphor for our own search for truth. We are often presented with simple answers and neat packages. Society, culture, and even our own fears build these blocks around us, telling us how the world works. But sometimes, to find the real truth, we must be willing to break things. We must question the structures we have been given. We have to shatter our own assumptions and the illusions that keep us comfortable but trapped. The toy store, a place of innocence, became a laboratory for a dangerous and necessary experiment in deconstruction. In that moment of breaking, I was no longer just a victim. I became an active participant in my own story. I was looking for the core of the problem. This search signifies a critical shift in our personal journeys. It is the moment we stop running from our fears and turn to face them. We start asking the hard questions. What is real? What is an illusion? What fundamental beliefs must I break apart to find my own authentic path? The splintered wood on the floor was not a sign of failure, but a symbol of progress on the path to understanding and liberation. Suddenly the dream shifted. The cold, artificial world of the department store dissolved, and I found myself outside, under an open sky. The immediate threat was gone, but a new, deeper quest had begun. I was now in a large, comfortable SUV, a vehicle that represented safety and protection. My goal was clear in my mind. I had to find my grandmother's house. It was not just a place but a symbol of origin, of wisdom, and of unconditional love. It was the home of my spirit, the source I needed to reconnect with to find my strength. The journey was not easy. I did not know the way. The familiar roads of my memory were gone, replaced by a maze of unknown streets and highways. I had to rely on a GPS, a modern tool for guidance. This represents our search for direction in life. We often feel lost, disconnected from our roots, and we seek guidance from external sources. We look for signs, for maps, for anything that can point us back to where we belong. The SUV protected me from the outside world, but inside I was still a wanderer, a seeker on a pilgrimage to find a piece of my own soul. Along this journey, a new anxiety emerged. I realized my motorcycle was missing. It wasn't just any motorcycle. It was a symbol of my freedom, my independence, and my wild spirit. Its absence was a heavy weight. It meant that while I was safe in the SUV, I was not truly free. I had lost the part of me that could travel light and fast, the part that was adventurous and self-reliant. The search for my grandmother's house was now intertwined with the loss of my own personal freedom. I had to find my way back to my roots before I could hope to reclaim my spirit of independence. This part of the dream speaks to a universal human experience. We often find ourselves on a journey back to ourselves, trying to reconnect with our heritage and the wisdom of our ancestors. We seek the safety and comfort of home, a place of spiritual grounding. Yet on this journey we may realize we have misplaced essential parts of our identity along the way. We trade our freedom for security, our passion for comfort. The lost motorcycle is that missing piece, that youthful fire we must find again to be whole. The dream was asking a profound question. Can you find your way home without losing yourself? The final chapter of this dream was a moment of profound transformation. The anxiety of the search, the fear of being lost, and the grief over my missing motorcycle all came to a head. I was still on the road, still searching for my grandmother's house, but something inside me had changed. The desperate search for an external map, the reliance on the GPS began to fade. I realized that the directions I was looking for were not outside of me. They had to come from within. The power to change my situation was in my own hands, in my own mind. In a moment of pure clarity and intention, I decided I would not find my old motorcycle. Instead, I would create a new one. I closed my eyes in the dream and focused all my energy, all my will on a single thought. I will have a new motorcycle. It was an act of pure manifestation, born not from hope, but from certainty. When I opened my eyes, there it was. It wasn't the old one, but a new, sleek, powerful machine waiting for me. It was a symbol that I was no longer defined by what I had lost. I was now defined by what I could create. This powerful shift represents the final stage of a spiritual journey. We move from being a victim of our circumstances to being the creator of our reality. Manifesting the new motorcycle was a declaration of sovereignty over my own life. It was the moment I stopped being chased by the white-faced figures and started paving my own road forward. I had integrated the lessons of the past, the need for roots and safety, the SUV in Grandma's house, with the need for freedom and self-expression, the motorcycle. I was no longer just running or searching, I was building. This dream holds a mirror to our own lives. We all face moments that threaten to turn us to stone, to freeze us in fear. We all get lost on the road and feel disconnected from our homes and from ourselves. But the dream reminds us that we hold an incredible power within us. It is the power to break down old illusions, to seek our deepest truths, and ultimately, to manifest a new way of being. We can create a new path, a new vehicle for our spirit, one that honors both our roots and our freedom. What in your life feels like it is turning you to stone? When you feel lost, where do you search for directions? And what new, wonderful thing could you manifest in your life if you truly believed you could?